my name is Megan Sussex now. Call me Meghan Markle one more time, Mindy Kaling.
And I felt, you're losing people every single time you have those headlines. We all get that there's a really big urgent message.
For a long time, public attention around Prince Harry has rarely settled, but nothing seems to ignite curiosity quite like discussions involving his children. In one particularly tense moment, royal biographer Angela Levin made a remark about Archie and Lilibet that many interpreted as unusually pointed. It was not simply the content of what she said, but the tone and timing that stirred a wave of speculation. Observers were left wondering whether her words carried deeper meaning, or if they were simply being overanalyzed in a media environment that thrives on ambiguity. Questions quickly followed. Was this an offhand observation, or something more deliberate? And what might she understand that has not been clearly communicated to the public? The situation feeds into a broader uncertainty surrounding whether Harry would ever reconsider the level of privacy he has chosen for his children, Prince Archie of Sussex and Princess Lilibet of Sussex, whose lives remain largely shielded from the public eye. Behind this moment lies a much bigger backdrop, one that involves the enduring institution of the British monarchy itself. For centuries, it has managed to survive upheaval of every kind, from wars and political transformations to scandals that once seemed capable of dismantling its credibility. Time after time, it has demonstrated an ability to adjust, to recalibrate, and to continue presenting itself as a symbol of continuity. Yet, in 2026, the challenge it faces does not come in the form of a single dramatic crisis. Instead, it is quieter and more persistent, growing through conversations, shifting attitudes, and a gradual re-examination of what the monarchy represents in a modern world. This evolving scrutiny is not explosive, but it is steady, and perhaps more difficult to address because of that. At the center of this shift are Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, whose decisions over the past several years have placed them in a unique and often debated position. What began as scattered speculation in online communities has slowly expanded into a much wider discussion that now reaches mainstream audiences. The nature of the conversation has also changed. It is no longer driven purely by curiosity or gossip, but by deeper questions about transparency, accountability, and how an institution rooted in tradition maintains credibility in an era where information is constant and public expectations are evolving rapidly. In the past, distance and formality allowed the monarchy to preserve a sense of mystery, but today, that same distance can be interpreted as a lack of clarity. One of the most striking aspects of this moment is that it does not revolve around a single issue that can be easily resolved. Instead, it is a collection of ongoing concerns that continue to develop over time. Each new discussion adds another layer, making it more complex and harder to contain. This is no longer just about personal choices made by individuals, but about how those choices intersect with an institution that depends heavily on public trust. The monarchy's strength has always been tied not only to its history, but to how it is perceived, and once that perception begins to shift, restoring certainty can be a slow and difficult process. In early 2026, a subtle but telling moment highlighted this changing dynamic. The wedding anniversary of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle passed with little public acknowledgement. There were no visible messages from King Charles III, nor from Prince William or Catherine, Princess of Wales, and even the couple themselves did not mark the occasion in a way that drew attention. While this could easily be interpreted as a preference for privacy, many observers felt that the silence suggested something more distant. It did not carry the warmth typically associated with such milestones, and instead hinted at a quiet shift in relationships that words might struggle to fully explain. Public perception of Harry and Meghan has also evolved. Their relationship once captured global fascination, often described as a modern reimagining of royal life that blended tradition with individuality. Over time, however, that sense of excitement has softened into something less defined. Rather than strong admiration or sharp criticism, there is now a growing sense of indifference in some quarters. This change is subtle but significant because indifference does not provoke reaction. It simply reduces engagement. Without the formal structure that once supported their roles, their public appearances and projects can sometimes feel less anchored, leaving audiences uncertain about how to interpret them. At the same time, the monarchy under King Charles III appears to be refining its own approach. There is a greater emphasis on structure, responsibility, and clearly defined roles, reflecting an institution that is becoming more deliberate about how it presents itself. This shift creates a more challenging environment for Harry and Meghan, who exist in a space that is neither fully within the monarchy nor entirely separate from it. Their global recognition remains strong, but their position lacks the clarity that official roles once provided. This in-between status brings visibility, but also uncertainty, making it harder to establish a consistent sense of purpose in the public eye. The tension becomes even more apparent when considering the balance between tradition and privacy. Historically, royal births have not been treated as entirely private events. They followed established customs that reassured the public about continuity and legitimacy. Appearances after the births of the children to figures like Diana, Princess of Wales, and Catherine, Princess of Wales symbolized openness and connection. However, Harry and Meghan chose a different path following the births of Archie and Lilibet, limiting details and delaying public moments. For many, this decision was understandable in a world where personal boundaries are increasingly valued. For others, it introduced a sense of uncertainty within a system that has traditionally relied on transparency. This divergence has led to ongoing debate. Supporters argue that prioritizing privacy reflects a modern and necessary shift, while critics suggest that reducing visibility in key moments can create gaps that invite speculation. Even without evidence of wrongdoing, the absence of information can lead to assumptions, particularly in an environment where public trust plays such a central role. The discussion has been amplified by commentators like Angela Levin, who continue to highlight perceived inconsistencies, ensuring that the topic remains part of a wider conversation. The impact of these dynamics extends beyond Harry and Meghan themselves, reaching into the lives of their children. Archie and Lilibet are growing up far from the traditions and daily interactions that define royal family life in the United Kingdom. Their upbringing in California offers a markedly different experience compared to that of their cousins, such as Prince George of Wales. This physical and emotional distance raises questions about how connected they will feel to their heritage and to key members of their extended family, including King Charles III and Prince William. The absence of shared experiences, such as family gatherings and celebrations, can gradually shape relationships in ways that are difficult to reverse over time. As Prince Harry approaches his 40th birthday, these issues take on added significance. What might once have been a unifying family occasion is now expected to pass without a broader reunion, reinforcing the sense of separation. Such moments, while seemingly small, often play an important role in maintaining family bonds, and their absence can contribute to a growing sense of disconnect. Over time, this distance may influence not only relationships, but also how the next generation understands its place within the larger family narrative. Beyond personal and emotional considerations, the situation is also beginning to intersect with legal and constitutional discussions. There has been renewed attention on the Titles Deprivation Act 1917, a historical law that allows for the removal of royal titles under specific circumstances. While no action has been taken, the fact that such legislation is being discussed again reflects a broader shift toward accountability and clearly defined expectations. It suggests that the monarchy is increasingly being viewed not just as a symbol of tradition, but as an institution that must align with modern standards of responsibility. For King Charles III, this creates a particularly complex situation. His role as monarch requires him to prioritize the stability and reputation of the crown, while his role as a father involves deeply personal considerations. These responsibilities do not always align, and every decision carries both emotional and institutional implications. Even choosing not to act can send a message, shaping public perception in ways that are difficult to predict. In a world where every detail is analyzed, silence itself can become a powerful form of communication. As 2026 continues, it is becoming increasingly clear that this story is far from over. What began as isolated moments has developed into a broader narrative that touches on tradition, identity, and the future of the monarchy. At its core are questions that remain unresolved: how an institution rooted in history adapts to modern expectations, not how public life can coexist with genuine privacy, and how much change can occur without altering the essence of what the monarchy represents. Amid all of this, the most human element remains easy to overlook: Archie and Lilibet are growing up within a situation they did not choose, their lives shaped by decisions and circumstances far beyond their control. Their story, while often discussed in abstract terms, is ultimately about family, belonging, and the long-term impact of distance and division. For Prince Harry, the challenge continues to be balancing his desire to protect his family with the realities of a life that has never been entirely private. For Meghan, it is about maintaining a sense of identity in a world that constantly interprets and reinterprets every action. In the end, this is not just about headlines or speculation. It is about an institution at a crossroads and a family navigating complex and deeply personal choices under global scrutiny. The outcome will not be defined by a single moment, but by a series of decisions and perceptions that unfold over time, shaping not only individual reputations, but also the direction of the monarchy itself for years to come.